Well, let's dive straight into that match and start talking about the latter of those teams. Fury really do come into this stage not as red hot as we would have hoped for. Now, again, it is super important, Mandy, when we talk about Fury and their start to the stage. They're only on 4 points, but they've played Jolita, they've played Bleed, and they have played Elevate. So that is 3 of what we're calling the top 4 teams. As Dev said, now things get a little bit easier for them. Do we expect to see Fury come back into that? I don't want to say second place team. It feels really harsh to say that because I know in Southeast Asia they are the number 1 and were last year. But obviously they have to get a little bit more respect on their name.
Yeah, I think at this stage it's pretty important for Fury to start claiming some of these points. I know that ultimately 6 of the 8 teams are going to go through to playoffs and yada-da, so it shouldn't matter that much, the results. You just need to beat 2 or 3 teams.
Yep.
But I think now that they're going into the easier games, and with how close the league is as well, you don't really want to be missing on that 1 and 2 seed, right? You really want to be doing everything you can to skip that first BO3 because the league is so tightly contested. If you end up in that like 4th place, 5th place, 6th place match, you are fighting someone pretty tough no matter who it is, right? So I think for these guys, collecting all the points that they can, basically asserting them as a top 2 team from here on out, to me is extremely important. And I think for the first couple games, like, yes, you could argue that they had their de-rusting period. They can't really lean on that anymore. I think yesterday's really dominant performance against Elevate is, like, to me, a great sign that they've probably shaken off that rust by now. And from here on out, I think it should be pretty smooth for them.
Yeah, it's the turning card, isn't it, Dev? And I think that maybe it probably is best shown in their EPS, considering, you know, they have lost 2 games. They're all pretty much hitting the average mark as we'd expect at 100.
Yeah, and I think that's a testament to the nature of the games that they have lost so far. So obviously their first one was a 6-8 against Jolita. You're probably going to have pretty good stats if you're only losing by 2 rounds. And Bleed, obviously they played Bleed on Skyscraper and went 4-7. So they still had a really solid contest against Bleed. They didn't push overtime, unfortunately. Didn't even get to a 12th round. But they, I guess, also had a chance to really farm their stats in the 7-0 against Elevate. Yeah. And that is quite remarkable because even though Elevate perhaps played below their typical standard, that is a 7-0 against what maybe I think after play day 1, I reckon Elevate looked like the second best team in this league. And so for Fury to 7-0 them is a massive statement. And I think that these guys have what it takes to not only get into those top 2 spots going into the playoffs, but I even think that we could see a massive reprisal of Fury. They are a great BO3 team. And in the big high-pressure games where other teams might drop off, they go harder. And I wouldn't be surprised if these are the guys we see in Manchester.
Well, I mean, look at their SI results, right? They won 3 out of 4 best of 3s. Granted, their group was a little bit weaker than some of the other groups. They still finished 2nd in their stage, which is absolutely absurd to think from an Asian team that we're getting back to those kind of discussion points. But on the flip side of this coin, Direwolves, this one for me, I think is even more important with a little bit of context here. Now, they have the highest rated player in the league at the moment. Jogo's absolutely just going nuclear. Like, these are stats that I don't think I can't actually remember seeing something this high before. 88% cost, 162 APS. It's absolutely outrageous. But there is a really big caveat to the conversation of Direwolves right now. Whereas Fury have played 3 of their biggest competitors, Direwolves have played the two out of the bottom 3 teams right now. They have played themselves Daystar, and then they went on to beat Knock Knock. So, are there, I guess what I'm trying to get to, Mandy, is do you think that their stats are inflated here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you pointed out correctly. Yeah, Jogor at the moment, very much the highest rated player, a 1.69 CGG is like pretty insane, to be honest. And only essentially playing the bottom 2 teams definitely does inflate those stats. I mean, we saw those 2 teams go and face off each other yesterday, and it was a wild game, if we could ever say anything. So honestly, I think for Direwolves to have gone and played against those 2 teams, still dropping some rounds, especially in a pretty strange fashion. I am a little worried for this team when they go up against more difficult opponents that will probably punish them for making mistakes.
Well, we saw it last night, and it could potentially follow through tonight. Let's go ahead and look at where we're going to be headed for this one. Dev, do you have a feeling as to what map we're expecting?
Oh, you're throwing me right under the bus here. Well, I think
Sorry, mate. I always expect you've got
Probably won't
something.
see Consulate and, maybe not Clubhouse, but jokes
Wow.
aside, great band there from Direwolves. Obviously, yesterday, Fury 7-0'd Elevate on Consulate. Fury love Cafe. It's their most, their most won map at the moment. They're on a 5-game win streak, but they're the ones that banned it out. Fair enough.
interesting.
Fair enough, I guess. I don't know where it... What is left? Chalet? Is it going to be another Chalet? We always see bloody Chalet. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is Chalet in the end. Direwolves do quite like this map. They're on a 2-game win streak, and that was both from this stage. They beat Daystar and Hasib's Warriors, but they're not flawless on that map. Like, you dig a little bit further back, they actually lost it in the ECS against a team called Devil Package. So that's like the Tier 2 tournament. So Direwolves aren't perfect on it. In the last year, Fury have played it quite a lot, and while it's not one of their favorite maps, they do quite like it. However, they really need to redeem themselves because it's also the map that they got 7-0'd on by Team Bliss at SI. So it's a question of whether Fury have really put the work in from that loss and can bounce back.
I think that obviously Chalet is the most played map in Asia at the moment, Mandy. But this would be the fairest map for us to go to, at least in my eyes.
I think you can look at it in two ways. I think the main thing is that in the group stage, there isn't that much strategic advantage in revealing extra maps, in my opinion. And especially if you're like your Direwolves, right? And you've essentially played Chalet, I think it's like 3 times now, or 2 or 3 times in the last 4 play days. You may as well replay it again. You want to let that one slip through the ban phase. And I think for Fury, they've seen Direwolves as Chalet, and they've probably gone, okay, we can beat that. Honestly, they've probably gone back and they've watched the VOD. Yes, they did beat the 2 worst teams on it, but honestly, I think they show a lot of weakness on that map. So I think for Fury to jump that straight their way into it, I think it's totally fine.
Well, it's time because Fury, they've got to turn their stage around now. They have to turn this conversation around, whereas Direwolves, they've got their 2 hardest games back-to-back. Bleed last night, Fury tonight. Can they get away with any points? We head to Chalet. Cousins Xenox will take you through it.
Yeah, I think really well said and sets up the stakes here for this particular match. It's not do or die, guys, but certainly a big game between 2, I guess, inter-regional rivals. We've seen Fury and Direwolves go head-to-head for many years now, and I think also we're at this point in the stage where we're starting to see maybe some of those performances in the first couple of play days get ironed out a little bit. You know, Fury, great response yesterday. They look like they're back to their best. Good time for them to, I think, accept this challenge of the Direwolves.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're at the point in the stage already where I think Bleed have already proven that they are probably peeling ahead of both of these 2 teams. So both of them are trying to keep touch. Both of them need to prove themselves. And this is quite an important game in doing so. Maintaining a top 2 finish at the end of the league could prove to be very, very vital in a league so close.
Great to Chalet. It's been a very favorable map inside of the Asia League. It'll be the 4th time we've seen it, which is the most played. The next best being a couple of 2Xs. So Chalet has been a bit of a home stomping ground for Asia League for a lot of teams across the board. Feels like the more neutral of the maps that we've had. For Fury, of course, yesterday 7-0 against Elevate, guys. We got to cast that one. Certainly a surprising scoreline. Not a surprising result, but a surprising scoreline. After, of course, Fury lost the opening 2 games to start their stage, losing to Jalita and Bleed. Beating Elevate, then into Direwolves, I think this will save their season heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, let's jump into the ban phase then as Joe gives us a nice big smile to the camera. One of the top performing players in the league at the moment, red hot, and Fury will need to find a way to try and tame him. Monty off the board first. Montang has been an incredibly potent attacking ban, one of the highest presence attacking operators so far. When not banned, often played. And clearly, obviously, Dai was not wanting to deal with that. Ying as well, so not too many curveballs being thrown. And I honestly suspect that the defense is going to be quite similar here. I don't anticipate we're going to see much of a shake-up in terms of meta or approach necessarily in this match. It's going to come down to round by round adaptation, which in my opinion on a map like Chalet with these 2 teams going toe-to-toe, again, should make for quite a competitive and fun game to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I think this should be the kind of game that, for all intents and purposes, both teams can win. Fury probably going as the favorites after what they were able to do yesterday against an Elevate roster that I thought was having a pretty good stage. As for this Direwolves team, I mean, they were okay against Bleed. Nothing too outstanding. Had some good defensive rounds. Eventually did lose out 7-4. And outside of that, hard to really then game where they're at. They're playing Daystar and a South Asia team in Hasib Warriors for their first 2 play days. You know, it's kind of like both ends of the spectrum where, okay, well, they've played some of the lower teams, but then they've also played the best team. So this is going to be Direwolves' first opportunity against the middle of the pack, and what is an expanded middle of the pack when it comes to the Asia League. So for me, this is where we're going to get more answers to Direwolves and for Fury heading deeper into this stage. Going into it though right now, despite the 1-2 scoreline, I think Fury are the slightly favored of the 2 teams after what they were able to do yesterday. And they also get to start on attack here on Chalet. So we'll see if that does bode well for them. Doesn't necessarily always have to be slightly better for the attackers. Defending is still very prominent on this map.
Yeah, the mute ban makes things a little bit intriguing. It does, obviously, at times is going to impact the information gathering of the attack, as well as their ability to open up walls as well. Hard breach. But that does mean that the Solace will be available. We're also going to see the double down on the Maestro here for the first round. PC crash, so there will be a rehost round 1, but if my knowledge of the rules is correct, the same operator picks will persist and the same site. And that Solace Maestro combination will make it very, very difficult to drone, not only in the early round, but also through the mid round with the layering of the Evil Eyes as well. So those very much keep in mind. And yeah, hopefully we get a pretty swift rehost. And I know that there definitely are crushing issues at the moment, so we do just have to deal with that, but such is life.
Yeah, I mean, that's just unfortunate. The nature of this particular league, these instances are probably a bit more prominent than other regions. We're kind of expected and very much used to it at this point. Unfortunate for Dark. And you're right, I'm almost dead set certain the picks have to remain the same. The site definitely does. And yeah, I guess we get an extended pre-show for this particular matchup. We've kind of said everything when it does come to these 2 teams. We're at that point in the stage as well where there's still more questions that need answering. We're not deep into the playoffs where we can kind of delve deep into a season-long journey for both of them leading to this moment. You know, as I mentioned before, for Direwolves, when it does come to where they're at currently, it's really difficult to gauge. You played the worst, you played the best. This will be their first opportunity to play that in between and see where they really stack up against everyone else. I know that was the discussion from James as well on the desk to begin the show. So look, at the end of the day, we're not going to sit here yapping too much. We will head to a break, rehost. When we come back though, we'll get underway in Chalet.
Talent Drama, take one.
Alright, this is a really tough call. I'm actually not quite sure about this one. I'm gonna have to think for a really long time. I know my answer.
Wow, so shocked.
Oi! Oh, what's that? I feel dogged by
Dev
this.
cop a stray.
Yeah, definitely
How?
got this straight.
Actually, to be fair, I'll be on in 5 minutes and
Yeah.
you'll be on in like
Oh,
half.
actually, no, that's true. That is true. I am.
First frag.
I don't know. I've seen this guy farm a little bit. I went wrong.
What?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Big dog! Big dog!
Come on. Yeah, thank you.
Why did he listen? I'm on drones.
I figured you'd be just spawn peeking or
I'm
something.
on drones.
He doesn't know how the game. So what happens is someone drones someone into the building, and the other player is an entry.
It was who gets the first pick, not who gets picked
Not
first.
who watches it on a drone. Well, this might be a controversial take. I don't know. Only if I'm on drones can this person pull this off.
Wow, absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go.
I really have just continued to just
You haven't played enough with
The
this,
thing is,
mate.
Rob doesn't want to work together with anyone.
No, I just want to run in and find as many heads as I can. We play it like another game that I shan't say.
This is a tough one.
I mean, it's not like you can't really kill yourself with nades anymore.
You can. I've seen it.
Well, you might if I haven't. I just picked the worst person.
It's the,
That's
it's
what
the
I've
most
done as well.
obvious. It's the most obvious.
He already knows.
It's the most
He already
obvious.
knows.
This turn.
Yep. Is that a first 5 out of 5?
Yeah, that's the 5 out of 5. Well done, brother.
Should be proud of yourself.
Oh, this one's.
This is actually tough.
I know who I'm going with.
Okay, I have a story for this one.
Come on, Amanda.
Oh, she got a story.
Oh!
Wait, what?
Wait,
I
who did
have
you
had
say?
to call both of you to get on an Asia show before.
That is true.
That is.
I remember that.
And then I called both of them over and over and over.
Laura woke me up and was like, why is Mandy calling you over? And I was like, I don't know why. And then I like clicked in 2 seconds later, I was like, oh, I've got a broadcast. Like now.
Most likely
I've actually got a good one here. I've got a good one, and I want to see what everyone else says.
3,
Oh, no, this is a 5 out of 5.
1.
Dev. But to be fair, not his fault. Most of the time, his luggage gets lost. Not due to his
Also,
his issue.
my shoes were stolen from my hotel room in Brazil, and I've never got them back. So,
Are you barefoot right now?
yes, I don't actually own any shoes anymore.
Get the grippers out.
Yeah, I've...
Oh, this is an easy one. This is easy. Flip it over.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
There is a reason.
Yeah.
There's
No,
a reason
that
we
is
call it.
bull. It's
There's-
not
Look,
guns.
there's a reason we call him the content. It's not because he's good at content. It's because he creates.
Sorry, did I
it.
write Guz? I meant to write me.
Oh wow, that was really good. Good segue.
Did I make a mistake?
Thank you very much for watching Talent Drama. We will see you after the break. welcome to Drone in the Unknown with my favourite Oceanic and Asian talent.
We haven't actually signed the contract yet, so.
If anyone can guess this right,
That's T2 in.
it's a wall.
No, that is Oregon. That's Oregon.
It looks a bit like T1. I don't think it's T2.
That's definitely backstairs though, right?
All right.
If I get this right, I'm telling you
Because
right now.
could also
Right.
be laundry stairs. I think it could be laundry stairs.
That's a good guess.
3, 2, 1, flip him.
Yeah,
very
thank
nice.
you guys for hard carrying the team.
Love the way we're all like, oh, geez, he came up with a good. But I was like, instantly, it's Oregon.
Oregon, mate. That was never the question.
Yes, it was. He was like, geez, what map's that?
Well,
I
that's
got
Jake.
it wrong.
Jake doesn't know what day it is.
Why
This
did
is
I
my day.
agree to do this again?
Villa?
Sorry, no,
I'm definitely getting Villa
it's not.
vibes,
No,
but
it's
also
not.
cafe. So
Has
I
to be
reckon that
cafe.
carpet's red. I
It
reckon
has to
that's
be
like.
cafe.
I'm gonna just
Nikki?
lock it in. I don't even know.
Has to be.
I'm
I'm
gonna
actually.
change it. I'm gonna change it.
Yeah.
If I had this right the first time, I'm gonna cry.
You ready? 3,
2, 1. Cafe reading.
That looks like border. Like the back of it looks like workshop.
I think it's on a rubbish bin.
Yeah.
So a little rubbish bin.
I'm
Oh,
looking.
do you know what it
I
would
There's
be?
feel
like
like it's Harry
computers.
Potter.
There's computers in the top right.
I
Is it-
feel like this is workshop.
Custom,
Oh, not workshop.
Customs
Where's
or Harry
the?
Potter?
Where's next to workshop?
I don't know. You tell me, big boy.
Shut up, you.
Vents.
Bobby.
Oh!
Wow.
Would
Damn.
never have got that.
No one did coast, right?
Nah. Maybe I threw everyone when I said border instantly. That's border. That's border bathrooms.
Is there a bathroom in cafe at all?
I think I've got this wrong.
Ah! Water bathroom?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wormhole.
Jeez, what is that?
What is that light? Like, is that a fire or is that?
No.
I'm
that's
ready,
a-
let's go.
That's a light
Shut
bar.
up.
What's your guess, James? Is it good?
No. Steam.
About as good as mine. I said
Theme Park Armory.
Oh, the furnace.
I've been prone in that corner too many times.
Is it classroom?
That's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, it's like mattress up against the wall.
It's Oregon. Oregon.
You can do it. I very often pre-place drones here, so I should
Oh,
be on the
really?
right track.
Turn.
Is it blue bunker?
Yes! I pre-place here all the time! Yeah!
Damn it, yeah. When you said I pre-place, I was
in
like
like that.
dining, because that's where
is it false scent, mate?
I got
False
that
scent.
this one, I'm not sure
This
what
one
it
looks
is.
easy, but I actually am a bit confused.
I reckon it looks a lot like Oregon to me. Don't you think it's kind of like Big Tower of Oregon? Bank lockers? Yes!
it was
I
bank
knew you
lockers.
would get it. I knew you would get it.
I was legit confused.
Do we really need me and Rob on this show?
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and apologies for the delay. We did indeed not have just a standardized rehost. We have had a substitute. So unfortunately for Fury, they've had to bring their coach in. Vaughn is making his, I don't know if it's his debut, guys, or not, but it's not often you see a coach make their way in that often anyway. So Dark, obviously, we saw crash at the beginning, and he's not been able to get his computer working again. So we've got a coach sub for Fury, which I really don't like. I hate this because we now kind of can't use this match to its validity. Fury will always just say if they lose this, well, we had a coach. If they win it, though, I will say it makes Direwolves look a little bit worse. So probably less pressure for Fury. You can lose this and say, well, we had a coach. For Direwolves, you would hope that they can beat Fury with a coach.
I mean, they can lose and then use that excuse to cover it, of course, but that won't excuse the standings at the end of the match if they don't get any points. Because, again, they are still very much teetering on the edge of not being able to make top 2, or at least it being a very difficult mountain to climb. You lose this in regulation, it only becomes more challenging, so... Obviously, circumstances have prevented them from playing a full 5, and we'll see how they go in this particular matchup. Same site, and the operator lineup is not the same from the defense, I think. Oh, maybe it is. It probably is. My apologies. But definitely that Solus Maestro does persist, which we highlighted before, and that is going to make it quite challenging for this attack to gain info, but we see the Grim in response.
Honestly, I don't even know how you would remember at this point. It took that long.
Well, I thought they didn't have his army, but they probably did. So,
Right.
like I said, just ignore me.
1-for-1 trade to begin. Jogor finding the coach. Oh, Fury. 90 seconds left, and Lycolis will slip in through Trench. BGM with the entry into Trophy, steps on a goo mine. Seal though up above its Soul has got an interesting line of sight. Jogor close by as well inside of Bedroom, makes his way into Solar. Heavy defense on the Solar side. You can see the Maestro cam as well at the feet of Jogor, double stacking this position. Trying to deny any kind of entry up those trophy stairs. That would be a Gemini from Lycolis. Does bait out the shots to Seal and also says to Fury, this is going to be a dangerous area, but they are looking to persist. BGM with the kit now making his way up trophy stairs towards Solar. On the repel though, Jogor's now got some work to do. Also watching towards Solar. Defensively though, Direwolf's in a good position.
Yeah, they don't have the hard breach as well to open up the wall and expose Joe's position, so this is a good spot to hold. B's make it a little bit more complex. Forced back, BG Man will find Pika. So the attack with the advantage, a decent clear. Souffle though still control over towards the library hallway position, can hold that bar with the barricade and the vault into Piano. Does so successfully. So 30 seconds on the clock. Fury still looking for some site control.
Very tucked in here from Seal. Flash to go through. Ineffective. Not wide at all. Seal continues to spray here on the Maestro. Out of bullets. Needs to reload. 2 down for Fury. Crit J now just a solo in a 1-on-2. Pushing through into Piano. But holding the angle was Souffle. And Souffle and Jogor both combining on site. And pretty strongly for Direwolves. Had a look at the statistics as well during the break. 59% defensive win rate on this map. It is also the most played map in Asia League. So a bit of validity to that statistic. I'm imagining it's just the nature of Siege at the moment. Defense is going to prevail, and even on a map like Chalet, which certainly there's avenues for attack, it's going to be defense we expect. Kitchen and Dining now to follow from Direwolves after winning up above. That'll be similar location, just different bomb site.
Yeah, Direwolves could try and make a pretty conscious decision here to really target the coach of Vaughn on Fury, playing that hard breach role. We saw him die first, unfortunately, in the last round, and then it made it a little bit more challenging to play ranged hard breach if they wanted to open up the likes of the Solar Wall, or even just to clear keeper barriers as well. So util game is going to be critical in this match. So it's really important that that hard breach stays alive for as long as possible, irrespective of really any objective. So Direwolves can look to target that. We'll see a switch up in terms of defensive composition this time around. So the Solace will be taken away, the Maestro as well. Even that is arming too. In exchange, though, we see the castle to cut off the crossfires that can be established from the windows, which are very, very powerful here on Chalet. And we'll also see some traps as well in the form of both the Frost and the Legion to try and just throw in some layers of complexity for Fury to deal with.
Yeah, by the way, Vaughn is Mad Dark Ranger. I think we've actually seen him fill in before. I could be wrong. Maybe once before.
Yeah, it rings a bell, yeah.
And interesting to note, by the way, he's also a caster. One of our own. And at the ripe old age of 37, is still playing at this level. So credit to him.
He might be
playing the supportive roles.
He might be the oldest person to ever play a game of professional Siege. And
At
I'm
the Pro
not
League
even
level.
saying that as a joke. Like, that legitimately may be a fun fact.
Yeah, it could very well be. Has got some big shoes to fill, though, with Dark's absence. Oh, the little battle one, though. Souffle winning that balcony fight against Lycolis. Ash gone on the floor. Dead. Advantage Direwolves. Peek up, wanting to maybe go and peek over towards Ego Belk, but holds in office for now. On the tuber out, there's a head on that corner. Shoulder, I9. Couldn't quite get the kill onto the peeking Pika, and will hold in towards default. We're at the half wall. Of course, Kitchen and Dining. You do want to clear above. And I9, he does get the kill onto Jogor, who I thought was just napping for a second. Very vulnerable. Should have been able to watch that position.
Well, Fury have no hard breach. They've got no hard breach, and they've now got no explosives outside maybe a Gon 6. So the castle's going to be fortified. The hard walls are going to be fortified. If Direwolves are any good, if they want to be a top 6 team, it's a round and a situation like this. You've got to win. You cannot be throwing picks away for free when you have the perfect conditions to win the round.
Well, that one was the one I thought maybe I9 wouldn't get, but he doesn't. Sorry, that he would get, but he didn't. After getting a couple of earlier kills in the round, he has opened it up for Fury, even without the hard breach, still finding success. Bearlike's over into Kitchen. Logic Bomb rings out, watching down towards the main hallway. And also, all the flash gives a bit of that intel. Expecting maybe the push through to come from Fury. Still up above is Pika, very low. Felix just gets caught on sight. Hard breach or not, does not matter apparently. Fury are able to just push their way into sight, bit of red ping information. Pika can't find an angle to stop that plant going down, and that will be a successful plant for BG, man. One close left, and Vaughn is able to get the final kill in the round. Fury will get themselves an attacking round early here on Chalet.
Oh, that's just not good enough from Direwolves. If your entire setup is reliant on the hard breach up above, down below being electrified, and on top of that the crossfires being covered from castle barricades, and the other team is not running enough explosives to deal with that, is not running any hard breach at all, you have to win that round. It's simply unacceptable for a team that wants to be competitive to be losing a round like that. Against an attacking lineup, there's also last minute running a substitute. So I was giving away way too many free picks up above, not supporting the players like Pika well enough on that half-wall position up above as well. Fury kept it very simple, very straightforward, and didn't throw anything unexpected towards Direwolves that was a positive. So, yeah, pretty disappointed by Direwolves in the way that they approached that, though.
Yeah, I do wonder, because I don't think Jogor's looking towards Ego Belt. If he's not, then it's a miscommunication in that moment. Now, what is he watching? Is he watching Repel? Is he watching Solar? Because if he's watching Solar, then he just gets shot in the back, and the player that was supposed to be watching it hasn't commed that it's, you know, now dangerous. And that being Pika, who fell in towards half wall. So hard to really know who's to really blame in that situation when we don't actually know what the comms were.
Objective is to defuse a bomb.
I don't understand what was the point of opening it like that, but anyway. Second go, second attempt for the Direwolves. This time we'll see if they've learned their lesson. And interestingly enough for Fury, once again, not bringing any hard breach. Not feeling it to be necessary.
I don't blame them. Why would they bring hard breach when they were able to just farm the last round? I mean, clearly not necessary. Just put Vaughn on a role he's more comfortable on. And Brava's actually a very good operator to put a sub onto. You can play, you know, relatively safe from distance. Focus on hacking those Maestro cameras as a primary target. It's not do or die if you are the first to fall either. So, not the worst pivot from Fury. But again, on paper, it should bolster the chances of the defense. If you're able to play into that top hold setup properly, if you keep the office wall up, the dining wall up, it should be hard for the attack to really get much done.
You know, I would imagine slower approach though with the Twitch and Brava combo here from Fury. Working their way over towards Trophy. Really stairs up towards Solar. Last time out though, it really was just a nice double kill from Ego Belt. And Critcho with the lurk down below. Still 2 logic bombs, gets rid of a Gumite. And with that can very much sense there's a bit of pressure to watching towards West Main. I just wonder if Fury's setting up for a bit more of a direct hit. A lot more focus here on this first floor rather than top floor. You can see the blue outlines all just roaming around West Main. Now in straight towards dining. J just caught napping. No trade to come through off the back of that logic bomb. Maybe sensing an opportunity to strike on sight, but yeah, good response. And Seal gets the kill. 60 seconds left. Direwolves with an advantage, and they double down. BG Man also falling. It's all direct right now from Fury. And then a little bit of a bar stock flank hold as well, and this round's over. Much better from Direwolves. Questionable though from Fury. I mean, if you want to question Direwolves in the last round, that's fair, guys. Now question Fury, because what was this? You went away from everything that worked in the round prior.
Yeah, good work there from Direwolves, doing a better job in shutting down the lurk that Fury tried to employ. Last time, obviously, it was mainly headed around the second floor and taking control mezzanine and then working that across through the likes of Office Piano. That time, they tried something a little bit more game-centric. So maybe not playing into the vert, expecting probably a more fierce response from the defense, although they were very much ready and waiting for that one out every single engagement. And yeah, the structure from Fury quite poor. Again, a little bit more forgivable when you are running a sub that can often break apart, but...
It wasn't his fault. He's doing his job outside playing on the Bravas.
Oh, no, I agree.
So, yeah, I think it's just a matter of the game plan was just completely off. Played into that roam game that Direwolves were employing. I thought they actually did a decent job of having a bit more pressure off site last round. Earlier than that, it was kind of just a hold above, foul apart. This time they put a little bit less pressure up above, and Fury kind of played into that. Had Fury gone a bit more direct, I think they probably could have emulated what they had done in that second round. By the way, Direwolves get their second round on the board. They do move away, though, from Kitchen and Dining. Fortunately, because they did lose it, it has opened back up again in terms of Office and Bedroom, which they did win initially the first time around. So we haven't moved. Fourth round, and we stay here.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Yeah.
Such is the nature of Chalet.
Blitz in play then for round number 4. We've seen a little bit of blitz throughout the Asia League thus far. I'm intrigued to see how they employ it here. Last time Fury used the Grim to zone out this solar position, but instead they may look to force the blitz up and use that as a pressure point in combination with the Kappa Tower to prevent, you know, the top of the stairs being held. That's a potential outcome here. Options are plenty, though, for the defense to formulate a response. The Thorn Razor Blooms may be positioned on the stairs to make it awkward for Lycoholders to push up. And there's also an opportunity for the Azami to pivot over to this side of the map, although she's currently over towards Library. That's Pika. Can combine with the Magnets from the Wamai to help fortify those if required. And there should be enough information now, I think, being projected to the defense that this is going to be a north push. We'll see, though, if the outlines of Direwolves suggest that they are going to respond to this by rotating, or instead maybe just hedge their bets at the minute that it could be a bait. We know it's not, though. Lycoholders has that diffuser in hand.
Yeah, and I think Lycoholders is just mindful of the fact there's a first floor Roma, and if he starts to push up Trophy Stairs, could get pinched from behind, and then, well, that's the biggest weakness for the Blitz. You can see how kind of worried he is for that back push coming in from West Main. Spots one over towards Dining, and with that, he's kind of like, well, can I really commit up above? That's the kind of biggest issue, and probably needs a bit of help. This is where he's going to be calling out. Razor Bloom does get activated. Jogor does find a free kill onto I9, who I imagine went in on the repel. One in towards Bathroom. This is certainly one of the strong points for Lycoholders, but he does expect one to push through from the Piano side. Felix does get a free kill. Down below, Nitrosol from Souffle, who eventually did push through. An easy kill from Vaughn, though, at least onto Trophy Stairs, does give Fury a way back into this round. We're going to need a bit more of that. And BG Man still out on that repel. 2 versus 4. Owls once again in a really good position to find their third round here in the game.
Once again, Fury just lacking a couple of the key components for that particular push to make it work. Lacking pressure on the cross Bathroom. Don't know if there was pressure double window. If there was, it wasn't sufficient enough to dismiss Jogor, who does eventually die. So good pick there from Vaughn. He's currently second top fragging for this team, going to highlight the issues that Fury are having in this match at the moment where key players are not performing their roles properly. Maestro as well on a potential island if BG can find the kill, but he won't. Position though revealed, and Vaughn now in the 1 versus 3 with the yellow ping. 15 seconds, so time not on his side. Flash to come through. Almost isolates that pick, but Seal swings. Shuts him down. Direwolves go back to back.
Yeah, the original plan there for Fury is try and get the Blitz up in towards Solar. Not going to do it on the repel, going through Trophy, and there's a player lurking Dining. Now, at that moment in time, and that was spotted really early, why are you not just trying to clear out that Roma and Dining then? Why are you not putting pressure on him? Instead, they just completely ignore him. They just ignore him. What does he end up doing? He pushes towards Trophy, gets a Nitrocell kill from below. Was there a bit of an over-focus on the Solar side? Even the repel in from I9 did that so early on the Kappa Tower before Util was even cleared. Razor Bloom's going off. It hadn't really smoked anything off. Jogor was able to get a very easy swing on that repel in. In terms of the team coordination there from Fury, it was just completely off. And in the end, they do lose the round. Direwolves was able to respond after that second round loss. They go 3-1 up, 2 rounds to go in the half. Suddenly looking in really good shape for a team that, arguably should be doing well. Against a team with the coach, fill in, the disruption really even as a team when you're sitting there, you get into the round, Dark then crashes, then his PC's not working, then you're going to get a coach in, then you're almost getting forfeited because it's taking so long. Yeah, mentally quite draining for Fury. Definitely kind of look at this match and think, okay, well, it's not going to be indicative as to how good they can be. That's still questionable in some of these rounds, that's for sure. Lost G time.
I think Jogor certainly has the license. Okay,
Oh.
no. License provoked.
Lost it.
Yep. He lost it as fast as he got it. And it gives it in now. I mean, Direwolves have to be very careful in this game. They have Fury on the ropes. Fury genuinely look pretty lost at the moment, understandably so. They're not hitting defaults. And if you're giving them opportunities to now make mistakes later on the round because you're losing an entry in a fashion like that, you just have to be so careful, with defensive rounds being really important at the moment.
Yeah, the other thing I want to add now as well is it's not a case of Vaughn going 0-4, right? And having zero impact. He's actually been doing his job as a supportive player. Now, is that the same role that Dark will typically play? Maybe not, but nevertheless, everyone has to adjust. Like Hollis 0-4, that's a little bit of a poor start. I9, BG, man, struggling to kind of get involved. I mean, even Crit J is hitting some good kills, so it's not really about the individuals and KDAs. The team coordination just seems off, which is really strange when you're adding a coach into the mix. Actually, in some ways, you can find benefits in terms of the communication and the game plan that you want to set out. Felix does get a kill into BG, man. He, again, struggles. 2-4 now. The line got off, I think, 1 E, 1 D. Welcome canister gets blown off in the hallway as Crit Jake goes for a peek to see if anyone's top library. Red Ping Intel, not bad, goes for the softball spray, but ineffective against Pika, who will maneuver his way around top library. And Felix momentarily has been flashed out of the mezzanine position near fireplace. Souffle losing his life to like Colas. There you go, on the board now. First kill of the game, and it does give Fury the advantage.
Felix, though, able to hold this position over towards mezzanine, elected not to jump down. Has been droned a couple of times, so position revealed. And this is a key fight coming up. One more drone, Gemini. I9 probably spotting him once more. But will he win the fight? He will. Good push through. Seal and Peak and now need to hold out for 45 seconds.
Where did that Nitrous go? I think he threw it through the floorboard. Well, much better from Fury. Pika couldn't sustain. He lost his position, got overwhelmed. They're all so low. I mean, if there's ever a winnable moment, it could be this. That was a Gemini from I9. Oh, one spotted on the stairs. And the peaks from Seal just ineffective. And Vaughn is able to get quite a couple of kills early on. 2 rounds for Fury. I mean, such is the nature of Siege at the moment. You can look so poor and run in one round and then turn it around in the next. That's why you have to just mentally leave each round at the door, guys. You cannot be worrying about the previous round. Oh, I made this mistake or I did this. Moving to the next, anything is possible. Fury find 2 attacking rounds. I tell you what, a third puts them in a really good position. And I actually think it's going to be just as easy to be able to, I don't want to say the word hide, but hide Vaughn on the defense. Get him to just bunker down on site. Get him to play very much site-anchored positions. He doesn't have to push out. I mean, they're kind of doing that here in the attacking round in terms of playing supportive role, hard breach. We go to Snow White in the 6th and final round of this half, but Fury, even with the coach, really taking it up to Direwolves.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying in the previous round. If Fury are having issues running defaults, and we have definitely seen that in this match, Direwolves just need to be very careful in the way they approach this defensively. If you're going to go for roams, you can't be playing for your life. You need to be playing to waste time and getting back to site, ideally, to force those executes where Fury are making mistakes. You know, roaming around with the boss G is fun and all, but as we saw in the last round, losing that first pick snowballed pretty quickly for Fury against CW, so quite an important round here. Fury will be able to very much build a bit of pressure if they win this out. Expected path, though, if Direwolves are able to win also, so an intriguing 6th round to conclude the half. We are yet to go to this objective, so in terms of compositions defensively, again, we see that Vigil for the roam up above, the Souls to facilitate that, and then on site, we'll see them lean heavily into that Mirror plus Nitro combo, Kaid also with Nitro for wall denial, and then the Goyas as well. So low calls under pressure on the Twitch to deal with some of that util, and Crit J on Nomad will be critical for Flank Watch.
Feels like a somewhat important round. Rivals, my mind, probably needing this 4th. And a good start, courtesy of Jogo with the Nitro Cell. Gets rid of the coach himself, Vaughn. Playing the Docker beat. No logic bombs. That's a big loss. Find that kill early on. Very much a detriment for Fury. And also the way Vaughn has actually been playing. And now they lose like Cola. Seal finds a kill. A bit more aggression here from Direwolves. Over towards Boiler. And I9 over peaks, but he gets the kill anyway to Felix. Spot West Main Stairs. And has actually unlocked Boiler. still alive in the 3 versus 4. I9 will remain low. Position also known. And he definitely is going to need some help from Critchay and BG Man.
Yeah, you can see that diffuser on the ground at site door. Currently engulfed in flames from the Goyo, so Fury will have to wait a little bit here. Perhaps an opportunity to pivot a little bit elsewhere, maybe fight this West main control, because that flank potential is going to be really difficult to deal with. Fury, though, could try and look to flood site. That's another opportunity. Get blue control, then hold the stairs and main. Library stairs and main stairs. Whichever path they go, though, will be challenging hatch control as well. Also in the hands of Direwolves, now weakened, though, as I9 finds Pika.
He's really done a good job of salvaging this round. Has I9. His basement control. Getting the kit, though, will still be a challenge. Well, the air jab can certainly help. And still some decent amount of time remaining. Ogre lurking West main does need to be mindful of the air jabs that have been put in this position. If it does catch him, he loses his life. Surely someone swings on this. They did. A little too late. But eventually, the overswing from BG Man pays dividends. Kept pushing, kept searching, got the killer onto Jogor. Fury now with the player advantage, and I9 has been able to slip in towards blue. BG Man going for the plant. Doesn't catch the first, but he should get this kill. 4-3 in the back. Seal will go down. And that is a well-calculated attack for Fury, despite being in a deficit to begin this round, losing Vaughn early, and the Doc could be gone. They went down to a 3 versus 5. Brought it back, win the round. And with that, a 3-3 half for Fury looks pretty good.
Yeah, really good work there from Fury, isolating those 2 picks off-site before the execute. Joe might be the top-rated player in the league so far, but the last 2 rounds, he's probably the key reason why his team lost. I don't know what he's looking at there, West main. Surely was anticipating the attack to hunt him down, but then caught looking elsewhere. Maybe expecting the pinch trophy here. So somewhat forgivable, I suppose. Maybe just respecting Fury a little bit too much, but they just overloaded the bot West main position and killed him anyway.
It's basement. Well, I mean, at that point, you can't be expecting. There's about 30-40 seconds left in the round. If they're going for a trophy push off of that on a basement site with 30 seconds left in the round, they're playing it bad anyway. It's a really strange decision there from Jogor to look around, to look behind him. Either way, I I agree with you. I mean, it's very strange. Direwolves also losing that 5-on-3, like the wider picture of that.
They had hatch control. They had full hatch control. Like, I don't even understand why he's going for the flank when you have the positions that you had. Again, the fundamentals in this game have genuinely been quite poor. And the only reason I sound like I'm being harsh and negative at the moment is because these are 2 teams that should have fundamentals down pat. Alongside your likes of Bleed and probably to an extent Elevate, they should have the basics of this game down pat at this point. So I don't know what's going on in the server at the moment outside of the Fury sub, but it just has not been up to the standard that it should be.
Well, every chance that Direwolves will be able to improve their fundamentals here on the attack, and, well, I guess maybe even vice versa for Fury, potentially on the defense. And no hiding Vaughn, straight onto the Warden. Talk about the confidence. And, look, can sit sight, but very much an impactful and important operator. You can't be afraid to peek and play into the flashes and the smokes if there are any. A lot of flashes. I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like, everyone has flashes except Souffle. Straight away onto the repel for Felix. They pop in EE1D. A bit of red ping information as well off of the Hive Launcher, and he's one to follow up. Oh, a second as well. The smoke just completely ignored. Lycolis does get one onto Pika. The Felix on the repel has been quite damaging, and Lycolis is low. 1 gas babe remaining. Bit of yellow pink information as well towards Piano. Jogor fighting this one as Seal finds the kill onto Lycolis. Vaughn will fall on the water, and I9 going for that flank up trophy into Solar. Does catch one onto Felix, who eventually repelled in. Can he get the second over towards Office? Not to beat, not straight away. And then a pro play, you see him, but wasn't watching. And for I9, I think he's had a couple of chances to maybe salvage this round. Those chances have dwindled, and Souffle is not going to give him a second one. And Direwolves will open up their account in the second half with a win.
Yeah, that's probably the right approach there from Direwolves. Just ramp up the pacing and the pressure. Don't really give Fury too much room to breathe. They're probably already scrambling enough as it is in terms of roles and positions with any changes they've had to make with the substitute. So if you can sort of put the foot down in the early round and then not give them the opportunity to recover, it's probably the best way to go about it. So Good way to open up the attacking account. Got a little bit scary there right at the very end with Diffuser caught over towards Ego Bulk, but ultimately relatively well converted by Direwolves. We'll see if they can find similar success on the other objectives. We go over to Kitchen Dining, round 8. Relatively similar lineup followed. Good first pick, good second. So that double window control there from Felix was absolutely spot on and did a good job syncing that with the rest of the push. And then from there, very traditional snowball attack.
So Kitchen and Dining now for the 8th round as Fury looking to kind of keep this back and forth nature going. In some ways, it's eventuated into that from both teams now looking, I guess, competent enough on both sides. Direwolves an attack round here. A lot of it defensive rounds in the first half. Really difficult to split these two teams. Which, yeah, it's very easy to say, well, Fury have a coach, but the coach is playing quite well. I mean, bigger there with an opening kill on Crit J, who has kind of been locked out of a couple of rounds now, and it's the Azami that has lost his life. Top library. No Kiba barriers that will generate throughout the round, so that's a big operator to lose, but more importantly, a big player for Fury as well. Crit J, typically the kind of player who is great in finding kills and executing mid-round counter punches on the defense. Just unavailable now as the default gets shot at by Joe Gore. And with that, Direwolves have got themselves library control here, and they can start to sweep across through the mezzanine. Lycolis holding in towards Mud. Is that a misdrone that I just saw? Because Lycolis hasn't moved off it.
Potentially. Smoke a long way away from the objective. Always a risky play to make. Now at the man disadvantage, perhaps Fury feeling the need to go for a play. Now Ram up top library. Is there a drone holding this position? Potentially, but Joe taken low. Able though to escape with his life. Will Lycolis be caught on the rotate? Chalet is a map where it's tricky to rotate. Through basement though, perhaps a little bit easier. Now 0.5 fireplace stairs. And he's going to get a freebie. Dai was not anticipating that.
Yeah, I mean, Pika just completely caught off guard. Jogor's very low here, by the way, so he's kind of a dead man walking. Souffle finds a kill onto Vaughn, and yeah, I mean, so low that he actually goes down to the electrified wall. I mean, he can get brought back up, though, and he's pretty much got the same amount of health anyway. Actually, not worth it. I remember the days where you'd purposefully down someone and bring them back up for a bit more health. That frag's going to get rid of the shield. BG Man does need to move out of that into Piano and starting to sense maybe a chance to swing. Like Cola shoots Seal in the back. He's going to finish him off with a gas babe, and BG Man has been able to rotate in towards bedroom, find a kill, and with that, suddenly the round in favor of Fury. Jogor's still alive. As long as he doesn't go running into any electrified walls, he should stay alive and get some work done with the Boogie auto breaches up above, open up these floorboards, and Felix can rotate outside with the kit. Still 30 seconds. An I9 and Lycolis, though, well prepped. Nitrous Cell 2 gas babes, but it's an easy entry kill. Lycolis still running around with 20 seconds left, maybe anticipating that they were both upstairs, caught in the hallway, and I9 is on an island.
Nitro to come through, 10 seconds on the clock to drop to come through. I9 almost wins the second fight. And he gets
the Goo
Goo Mine. Are you kidding me? Are you serious?
The Goo Mine from Vaughn. Up the Vaughn, up the Mad Dark Ranger, and Fury will tie things up 4-4.
This has been a game of Siege, that's for sure. 4-4 scoreline. And a round that really should not have gone the way of the defense. Direwolves had the early advantage. They were leaning into the roaming smoke, which ultimately actually had quite a good success rate from Lycolis on the defense. Direwolves then had a very, very, very good read on Lycolis being at that particular rotation at that particular point in time. You can only assume they had a drone there. Got it down to the 1 versus 1. And then the Goo Mine, the final tick of damage, able to finish the remaining player off.
Double wall can counter through at the default. Plant position.
Bomb located by attackers.
Massive
10
change up from the
seconds
Direwolves on the attack. Dockerby, Buck, and Thatcher
seconds remaining.
will be brought in response to the Kaid of Vaughn. Very much will look to open up that main hatch from there, rotate off, pressure above, open up floorboards, find some lurkers with the Dockerby. Very default and standardized looking attack here from the Direwolves. Now, opening up the hatch might take a little bit of time though, if BG Man on the tube route can delay. Not in the position to do so as of right this second.
So they've got some decent pre-play strains up above Direwolves, so they should be able to lean into that decently well. And again, with that Dockerby in play, Logic Bombs, one of which available, will aid in the room clear. Goomines continuing to pose problems and should be giving a read to Fury as to where the push is being initiated from. Library control succeeded, and that will allow Souffle to get to work with this vertical control. Make sure no one's able to catch them on a rotation this time. Like Coles was very aggressive in the last round and proved quite costly. This time, though, the drone's in position to watch them in the absence of no dedicated flank watch.
Well, this is risky. They haven't opened up main breach. Felix has been droning for the last minute. And if you lose Pika, then you lose arguably your best ways of opening up main breach. And typically most teams will open it early in the round so then they can get to work, you know, clearing roamers, opening up floorboards. But yeah, electing not to. I mean, I imagine at some point in the round they're going to go and open it up, and you can see the exothermic in the hands of Felix right now. Good job with the shoulder peek. You know, they ping over towards that main breach as they, I imagine, are looking to try and open it. Zoto Canister's delaying. This will be an intriguing little mini game if this stays closed. Zoto Canister again. We moved away from it. Oh, I imagine it got opened. There is still one Zoto Canister available from BG Man. Yeah, opened up. I imagine that was a little bit delayed, and like Colas losing the battle against Seal. Awkward one. Crit J responds through dining. But it's a kill onto Souffle. 40 seconds left, and with that main breach opened up, Direwolves have got many avenues now to attack site.
Need to come through then. Bit of util clearance potential here for the attack. Still trying to deal with his roam up above the half-wall position. Second nade to dislodge, although I think it just falls short. Crit J takes a chunk of damage, eventually down. BG Man and Vaughn now left in the 2v3.
Yeah, not a lot of time though, and they're all very low. Very winnable here for Vaughn and BG Man. Extremely winnable.
15 seconds left.
Still trying to see if he can spot anything. And with the double Vulcan canister setup, it's going to be difficult to get the plant down. Vaughn just did not need to peek that. He can hold the close angle. There wasn't a lot of time. And default plant was not going to be in fruition. Seal's down. With that, that's the kit. BG Man just has to hide and he wins the round. That's it. Round's won. One shot, one kill. That's all that was required. Vaughn gave them a look in on that blue peak towards bot library stairs. But BG Man gives them nothing. 5-4 to Fury, and on the verge of taking this game against Direwolves, even with a coach.
Yeah, I think the way I framed it before, it continues to come into fruition, the battle of the fundamentals at the moment, and that's being exposed late round. It's the storyline for a lot of the APAC regions at the moment, where they're really finding it challenging to find those win conditions that are most optimal and then converting them. I think up until that point it was relatively straightforward and you know, quite predictable and played out the way it probably should have. And then we entered this phase of the round where, unfortunately, yeah, Direwolves just aren't able to flood the side effectively, feeding a favorable one to the defense. And with so little time remaining, because the clear up above took a little bit longer than they would have liked, no opportunity to recover that diffuser. So, to the credit of Fury, they are, you know, putting in a really good effort. This is a gutsy effort from them, considering they are playing with a substitute very last minute. Irrespective of the experience and skill the sub may have, it is going to lead to ripple changes through the team and the way they're playing the map. So maybe in some respects that's working in their favor, because Direwolves have at times looked a little bit lost.
The bomb.
I actually don't know who deserves to win this game right now. You could argue Fury, they're playing with a coach. Have they been better inside of the server? I mean, I've seen both of these teams play dramatically better elsewhere, but it's also just the nature of the game, right? If both teams are a little bit sloppy, then that's just going to compound the sloppiness even more. It's a snowball effect. And I think that's just the case of this particular game. I think both teams are far more capable of playing really strong, methodical Siege with great fundamentals, as I9 will lose his life. Pika, I imagine just the Solus that has gone drone hunting gets caught by a player who's just pushed in super quickly, and Pika wins the battle. Happens time and time again. Got to be careful when you're on that Solus. I mean, you've got to be prepared for it. And Lycolis looking to double down in towards blue, and Pika holds this angle. He might be good for a second. Head angle. Lovely shot, though, from Lycolis. I mean, he knew that Pika was down there after the initial entry against I9. Really well played. Crit J getting aggressive towards Piano.
Yeah, gnarly entry there from Direwolves. Or pardon me, from Fury, rather.
A bomb has been located.
4-4 now. Double stack Library stairs and BG Man on the cross. Playing inside of Library. A bit more of an advanced position as I'm a barricade to protect him from the double window. So even a rotation here from Direwolves will be a little bit tricky, although they do have 4 nades. Vaughn can peek up and down for info on the Warden. Just needs to be careful that he doesn't give away his life for free here. That's the most important thing. He can trust BG Man to hold this cross and support him.
Just under a minute remaining. Fury looking for that match point. BG Man in towards the library box with a good angle. Great angle. And Crit J in front of him as well to stop any push coming from big window. That's a down onto Felix. And Crit J might just be aware of this as he continues to push, and he spots him trying to get back up due to that adrenal surge. Really well played from Crit J. Compound on that knock. Seal, though, does get a kill. It's been like that. Scrappy again, back and forth, and another couple of kills towards Piano side. Seal in the mezzanine, can't flick, and it's Vaughn that gets the final kill again in these rounds. Match point for Fury. Looking to overcome Direwolves here on Chalet. Even minus without one of their players in Dark, plus a coach. And a pause has been called now by Direwolves.
I mean, that was actually really quite clean from Fury. I really liked their adaptation towards the very late round there to over-aggress in combination with the flank. It made it very overwhelming for Direwolves, who was still at that point really looking to contest for control and clear either top library or mezzanine. They didn't really achieve either, and as they then stagnated and probably just wanted to recollect themselves for a moment, we saw this from Crit J, which, yeah, was kind of the nail in the coffin on top of the flank that came through from Lycolis as well. So, some really good stuff there from Fury. Comes the tactical timeout from Direwolves. And honestly, this is going to have to be one hell of a tactical timeout because this has not really gone to plan for them this game.
No, it certainly hasn't. Started so well. They had a 3-1 lead. But credit to Fury. They've just got better and better as the game has progressed. I think they've looked a little sharper as well. There was some questionable decision-making in the first couple of rounds. None from Vaughn, though. He's been great as a stand-in for Dark. 2 match points, kitchen and dining defense. It's all set up now for Fury to collect the 3 points.
Attackers need to locate and defuse this.
Think about what that could arguably do in terms of the standings for, I guess, both of these teams, guys. It would actually elevate Fury above Direwolves, who came into tonight second place, tied though with Elevate. So it's a pretty big 3 points. Very handy 3 points, especially after beating Elevate yesterday 7-0. You then go and beat Direwolves. I think coming into this stage, it was probably easy to make a case for Fury being the team that's better than the rest outside of Bleed. And getting these wins would at least put them back into that position. Yes, they did lose to Jalita, that being in overtime, and Jalita hasn't been able to really capitalize on that win since they did lose to Elevate afterwards. It's been a bit of a turbulent stage for a lot of these middling teams in the Asia League. So far, only Bleed has been perfect thus far. Everyone else has had at least one loss. The Direwolves now on the verge of their second.
And a loss in this game will make that top 2 finish very challenging. Certainly more challenging for Fury if they were to lose it, although that looks unlikely at this point in time. For Direwolves, maybe not as disastrous, but I think they'll be quite frustrated that they've lost to a substitute or potentially lost to a substitute. Never a good feeling as a core 5.
Yeah. I mean, the one caveat is if you don't finish top two, you need to finish third. So then you're on the opposite side of the bleed bracket. That's the biggest thing. And I think Direwolves will still be more than capable of achieving that. But you're right, in terms of finishing top 2, it becomes a lot harder if you lose this game. It's not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, certainly not impossible, but challenging. Inter at 11 then. We see the Ram brought out once again from Joe. So there'll be good vert potential here from the attack. Any potential west main flank is being held by Pika currently, as Joe now progresses forward through Library. Contested by Crit J, so the extension with the Azami. Triangle setup, as you can see, 3 players on the top floor here for Fury. Key part of dislodging this will probably be some hard breach on that office wall. Direwolves are running the Thermite.
It feels like a slow round, pace round. Like Colas. Oh, that's a greedy peek. Maybe sensing the pressure, and then Joe Gore was already up close. I don't even know if Lycolis was aware of that. Wanted to take that battle towards the player at big window. And ultimately loses his life, and on an operator that could be so influential late into these rounds. No gas babes available. And the hold towards Barstock has been undone. Over to site we go with under a minute left. Advantage for the Direwolves. They haven't had that many of them in this half. Vaughn 6 and 7. Has he got one more impact for us? Jay also can't win his battle. Joe Gore suddenly activating with 40 seconds left in the round through the library hallway. His next battle, potentially Piano towards Vaughn. The coach of Fury gets onto his drone as the exothermic is going to open up. Main breach towards half wall, but it is kitchen and dining. So they can't plant here. Got to still go down below with that kit, which is what Felix is holding. I9 with a nitro cell, but he splits the middle. And somehow they both survive as that bridge gets opened up. Vaughn will go down. Jogor's got 3. Pika then gets another. And suddenly, when match point has gone against them, the Direwolves have awoken.
Yeah, things going from bad to worse there for Fury in that particular round, but from good to even better for Direwolves. Initial clear over towards backstore was really clean. Good execution off the flash. Questions asked, though, why Lycolis is roaming again. It's a great one-and-done strat on the smoke, but backing it up with the reattempt is perhaps a little bit overconfident. The rest of the team then kind of fell apart from that point onwards. Response from Direwolves was good though. Here is the replay of that Lycolis flush out. So the flash followed by the swing, that was really, really clean. Joe obviously then going on to get 3 kills in the round, so 2 more after that. Just every single one going the way of Direwolves as they overload site. Good work there from Direwolves to keep the match alive as we prepare ourselves for the final round of regulation.
I mean, his overtime deserves at this point more than a regulation win for Fury. That's the real question. I'm probably leaning towards OT. I don't know if either of these two have probably deserved 3. You could, again, make that argument for Fury. Probably a lot better than Direwolves, and it will be that case or not. Direwolves can't get 3 points. They can only get 1 or 2. Need to force OT to also deny Fury all 3, which in the grand scheme of things could be important when it does come to those seeding discussions by the end of the stage. It's a big round now. This is very much something that could have an impact by the end of the stage. Back onto the Ram once again, which was, yeah, I guess a bit successful. We've seen quite a bit of it on the Chalet. Joe Gore was a big factor why they were able to win that round. And like Colas with a cheeky spawn peek from West Main, couldn't get the kill onto Seal, but he has gotten him very low. Did take some damage back, but it's a small win. Very small, fine marginal win.
So we saw those Goyos outlined over towards the default plan position. That will mean that if Fury identify that, they may elect to go for something a little bit different and instead focus around Snowmobile, just because that could be a little bit challenging to deal with. It's not the end of the world though if they're able to get quick boiler control, and they may also focus on that. Pick it down West Main now. Doesn't really catch much. I assume elsewhere, Felix will be getting to work on the hard breach. There's also, again, that RAM available for the fireplace soft breach. Double stack up above, though, from the defense. So Rome employed, top library stairs, mezzanine cross. Flashes to come through. Crit JC is white. He is able to just escape, but eventually taken down.
just feels like Kritche hasn't quite been able to get to his best, but a peek from I9! And there's a down player as well. More than has done his job. Only 2 up at the moment for Direwolf. Seal bleeding on the floor, but he's going to get brought back up. Felix should be able to get this revived. No one close to deny. Everyone down to the basement on site now. So it's a 3 versus 3. For the Direwolves to send this one to overtime. Seal's low. Lycola's just above half health though. Not much better himself. 60 seconds. Certainly still time for a rotate to get themselves towards basement, towards site. No real pressure. Boiler 1 in towards blue. Born still up. Mad Duck Ranger himself could be very pivotal here to secure all 3 points for Fury. In blue, he is going to be one of the first contact positions.
Yeah, good work from Direwolves in clearing out the Goya canisters and then identifying that this push can work. They got the Electro Claw off the wall as well, but the 2 barrel Zoto canisters are going to make this wall a little bit more challenging to open. It can be sold out one more time potentially, but BG Man, I think, was late and the wall now opened up. So 25 seconds, Kit will rotate. A default approach here from Direwolves. We'll see if Fury can deny.
All picker up above. Yellow Ping, he's got the information, but he went for the soft wall first. Lycola's just come straight through the front door. Seal, Vaughn, you don't have to peek this now. It's just a solo player, 10 seconds, who needs to get the plant, and he immediately falls back off of this position.
5 seconds to go.
Oh, so smartly done here from the coach. The time is already wasted, and Fury've got all 3 points with their coach standing in. Fury stand tall. What an applause from Lycolas, for not just his team, but for his coach coming in at the last second. Fury have been able to take down Direwolf 7-5 on Chalet.
Challenging circumstances for Fury in that game, in a match that was
And it's
already going to be difficult. Yeah, like, dinner's ready for Lycolas, right on cue. I mean, timed
Dinner's ready.
perfectly. Doesn't get any better than that. And yeah, smiles all around for Fury. It was a very scrappy game at times,
Yeah.
obviously goes without saying, but there were also some, moments of brilliance there from both teams, particularly Fury. And I think the most important thing was they stuck the sub on the role he needed to be on. The rest of the team was able to adapt enough around that, and they patched up some of the mistakes they were making towards the end of the match. So plaudits go to Fury, full 3 points, big for bolstering their chances at a top 2 finish.
Yeah, for Direwolves, though, back to the drawing board as they succumb to their second loss of the stage. They forfeit a top 2 position to Fury with the coach. They will not be happy with this result, though. But as we saw, Lycolas is the happiest man on earth. He's won a game, all 3 points, and dinner is ready, as is, of course, those on the desk.
Yeah, thank you very much for that one. A very interesting match. There's no 2 ways about it. A coach has to play and does quite well, all things considered, Dev. But this was really, I guess, teed up as a critical match for both of these teams as a turning point in the stage. Now, fortunately, it happens on play day 4. That's the midway point of the actual tournament itself. And it does feel like what we were saying before has actually kind of come to fruition. Fury, they've now gotten out of that, the slump of the bigger teams, and Direwolves are going into it.
Very much, yeah. And in fact, after Fury's game today, their matches from here on out are actually pretty straightforward. They've played the 4 best teams, aside from themselves, in the league so far, so they really could cruise even to first seed, depending on how other teams in the league go. Yeah, massive win here for Fury because this was such a pivotal moment for them. They beat Elevate yesterday. I think that was also a very pivotal moment, especially the fashion that they did that. Today, winning against Direwolves really was essential for guaranteeing that they will likely end up in one of those top 2 spots, which skips games going into playoffs. However, the sub, having to play without Dark, that's a huge curveball to throw last minute, and I am really impressed by them for what they managed to achieve.
Yeah, their number 1 fragger, unfortunately unable to, enter in and really have that same impact. But, it goes to show that a team is a team regardless of whether you have your 1st seed or your 6th seed. It doesn't make a difference what you do as long as you've got players in the server. Mandy, it's interesting when you go to the player cameras of Fury, there was a very large energy about them tonight. Do you feel like that is the kind of thing that wills you on to win in these moments?
Yeah, I think it is as well, especially for Fury. I think, Mentalist mentioned in his interview that coming back from SI, energy's pretty low, in the team, everyone's feeling a bit burnt out. So I think once you go back into your officials, having like that hype man in the server, someone like everyone riled up and into it is really important to keep the momentum going. especially in matches like this where it just feels like they go on and on and on. The rounds are ticking away, there are tech problems, you lose a player, you just need some of that good energy in there to keep the team rolling.
Dev, there was a very interesting comment that I saw in our little green room chat about the Goo Mines. It feels like they were almost a bit of a throwback to 2019.
Yeah, I tell you what, Legion's had his fair share of buffs. Need I say too many? And we actually saw quite a few pivotal moments where Goo Mines saved the defense, and fortunately for Fury, it was both on their side. So there was that 1v1 in Trophy and Kitchen where the enemy ended up dying to a Goo Mine. And even in, I believe it was the second last round, no, it was actually the last round there, the player who jumped in the window in Display Hallway on the top floor, the one that was low HP from that attempted spawn peek earlier, he just immediately got down to the Goo Mine. Even though he wasn't finished off, that essentially enabled Lycolis to get a second, or I9 rather, to get a second kill there. So massive impact, massive time waste for Direwolves. Yeah, we love Goo Mines. Fury is certainly loving them right now. A lot of luck involved in that, but I'm sure they will happily take that. This was a huge game for them. Big match from I9 on the top frag, but also interesting to see. I mean, his it says double BG man, but I assume one of those is Lycolis. Lycolis playing really aggressively for better and for worse at various points in the game tonight. I love the spirit in which Fury played this game. I think Guz nailed it on the head. They said to Mad Duck Ranger or Vaughn, just do the role that we need you to do, and the rest of us are going to play around that. And I think it meant that the rest of the team was uncompromised, and it was a hard game, but they really got it done.
They certainly did, and we actually get to hear from Lycolis firsthand as to how this one panned out. Lycolis, is that tape on your forehead?
Yeah, it's the thing that cool you if you were down.
Oh, well, I guess you kind of needed it. You guys were on a bit of a heat of this game. Look, the big and obvious question in the room is the fact that you had to play with your coach subbed in. What's happened? What's transpired? And how have you dealt with that in the game?
Well, it start with like Dark unlucky, like PC have problem. You know, somehow they have problem on the game day. Yeah, and so we have sometimes we scrim with one, so we just like try to put him in a role that just drone and then vision and then play like thing that like easier to like just play, and the other we try to like play the other part that is hard. That was our idea, and on the attack it's kind of like not that good, but we like made it out like it's okay, you know. Yeah. And on defense, I was trying to be more aggressive because like we're missing that, we're missing firepower. So when I saw somebody die, I knew that I must be like one guy that have to do something, not just like usually I just gonna like try to play safe or wait for the like another opportunity. So for tonight, I just play for what I think is the right thing to do. Nothing much. Yeah.
Lycolis, I got a question for you. Obviously, you've explained the play style that you had to adapt when you were playing with the substitute. But what was it like? What was the vibe, the energy like in the comms, especially when you took the lead? It was quite a pivotal moment when you were on defense. Obviously, you managed 3-3 at the end of the half, but then you took the lead. You got closer to match point. What was the energy like in the team? What were the things that you guys were saying to each other?
During a round, we just saying what we usually did in practice. But when the round ended and we get the win, everyone just crying and it was yelling. We usually didn't do that much with Dark, but with Vaughn we just do it. We just like try to keep our energy up higher so that Vaughn could still like feel like calm, you know, to play in the game. Yeah.
My question for you is, what are your key takeaways from playing at the 6th Invitational? It wasn't that long ago. There wasn't much of a break between SI and Stage 1 as well. So I'm wondering, how has the team managed to process through all that information and that experience that you've been through?
I don't think we lacking much when we playing in SI. The only thing that I think we lacking was like sometimes we lost confidence, and sometimes when things not working out, I think we somehow everyone just lost confidence and nobody could like cheer everyone up, you know, when everybody's down. So we were trying to when we back, we're trying to talk that we might need to like focus more on our practice, you know, not just like waking up every day and just play the game. yeah, like that. We just have to like practice and focus on the practice, and then just like every day, focus. Yeah.
Lycolis, I actually have another question for you. You mentioned confidence, but something that we've noticed about Fury is sometimes you guys do quite struggle. Sometimes you go back into your shells. You don't play with your max confidence. And then there's games like yesterday. Like, how do you flip the switch between these two extremes of Fury, of absolutely dominating and running over teams, and then falling back into old habits?
That's a good question because I don't know it either. Well, I don't even know because like when we lose, right? I usually ask like, why do we lose? Like, and like the way we make it was like the same thing again, and somehow after we talk it out, next week we just doing better, you know. So I don't actually know why. Maybe it's just because of practice, or maybe we talking out and we feel more calm and more constant. Or I don't know, man. It just happened, I think.
Hey, sometimes you gotta put your hands up and say it's out of my hands. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's all right. We'll keep following along with this storyline, Lycolis. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
I don't think no. Maybe just thank you for everyone watching tonight. At least I have a first time to be interviewed here, right? Because yesterday I got canceled.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, my friend. Well, hopefully we'll speak to you again before the stage is out. I mean, if we don't, there's a very serious problem, but let's speak to you again, shall we?
Yeah. I hope to see you again.
Take care, Lycolis. And obviously for Fury, their day looks brighter now, Dev. You know, they move on. They've beaten Elevate very handily yesterday. They beat Dire Wolves in like strenuous circumstances, all things considered. You know, the coach gets subbed in. Obviously, Dark's having issues with the PCs, but you know, regardless of whether they scrim with the coach or not, you're going up against another team that is contending for the playoffs, contending for that top 4 discussion. It's a tough game, but they get it across the line, James.
Yeah, I think that. Whoa, hit me with a James. Okay,
I did
Robert.
hit you with the James there.
I think losing to Julita would have been a bit of a kick in the teeth for Fury in their opening play day, especially because they were actually leading that game earlier. So obviously between that one and losing to Bleed, they would have really had their confidence rocked. And yeah, I will say it, like Fury is probably the most emotionally dependent team in this league, maybe. Like one of the most emotionally dependent teams that I see play at the top level of APAC. And I think that, yeah, like Cola said it, right? Like, they don't know why they can't always perform consistently. Sometimes they're the best team in the league. Sometimes they are not even in the top 4. And it actually reminds me, Mandy, of that book that I always talk about, the one that you made me read about sports psychology. And I really think that the key to Fury's consistency would be unlocking the mental tools that they need to really overcome the inner game, the mental game of playing Siege.
Mandy?
I was really interested in what Lycolis was saying about how in the absence of Dark, he actually put himself in that position to go and fill his shoes. I mean, Lycolis isn't like the most mechanically talented player on his team by any means. He's the support player, but he knew his place in the team. He knew that the big macro decisions he had to make round to round to actually go and fulfill some of that playmaking ability that Dark was lacking, you know, by not being there. So I think, yeah, for Lycolis, to me, that's the hallmark of a really good leader and an IGL. To actually have such a good holistic understanding of the workflow of his team. And just off the back of that, I really felt like Fury deserved that win. That was really good.
Yeah, and that now puts them in great stead as they have the bottom 3 teams to play for the remainder of their play days. So you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for how high Fury can get in the standings. Will they even bounce above Bleed? It might be unlikely, but still possible. We've got another matchup coming up after this break, and God only knows what Elevate are going to pull out in the server as they take on Daystar.